Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, 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 run away. Oh, psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Crown podcast. I'm Ryan from ColdSploitation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host Mark.
How's it going?
Not so great actually. This was the last episode of difficult films that we're doing this month, so we saved the worst for last.
We did.
This was one that we had planned out for the majority of this series. We didn't really plan out. We didn't say we're definitely doing this, and this. But this one we did. This was already scheduled for release. So, and we're actually recording this a little bit late because my daughter was in the hospital, so I didn't have a chance to record earlier this week. So yeah, it's not been a great time mostly because of the movie. The movie is a pile of trash, and we'll get to that as we get into the film. But yeah, we wanted to pick this one because we wanted to save, we did a few episodes where we picked films that were supposedly difficult, but then when we watched them, we actually decided, no, you know what? I think these are actually pretty good movies. Ones that are worth watching, like Showgirls. Or, we all agreed as well in the last week's episode, Freddy Got Fingered is not really a great movie, but it's also kind of not doing it on purpose. And so we recognize that and actually enjoy it. And then we did a couple that we actually didn't enjoy and found them to be as difficult as other people thought. But we wanted to save one where we were like, yes, that is definitely going to be the worst movie that we can have on the show. And I think we've really, after watching it, because this is the first time for both of us watching this movie, I think we really hit the mark there. Went above and beyond what we needed to do for this last episode. So the movie that we're talking about today is,
We're finally doing.
At some point, we'll have to do it, the full uncut, uncensored version. But no, the episode that we're doing today, and I think the film should have this in front of it, just for the sake of embarrassment. It should have John Travolta's Battlefield Earth right at the front. To further embarrass the man for having anything to do with this movie, and also for just being a Scientologist in general.
I'm sure he's actually proud of it. He's probably like, yes,
That's true. Yeah.
Look upon my work, Elron. Is it good?
Really sucking up over there. Yeah. So, like I said, neither of us have seen Battlefield Earth before. Obviously, there is a well-known infamy to the movie. And it released in 2000, which I do remember it coming out. I would have been 9 years old, 10 years old. No, sorry. I would have been
11. We were
11 years old. And I do remember trailers for the movie and stuff like that. And I think even then, at 11 years old, I was like, that looks like shit. Maybe not in so many words, but
lucky for me, I did not recall ever seeing this show up in trailers or anything. So for me,
I do feel like I remember it at some point back in the day. And see, again, this is the type of movie that my parents would not have been interested in, even were it to be good, right? My parents really weren't into science fiction movies or anything like that. They weren't big action fans. My dad would definitely find that any movie such as this would have too much special effects, because he's been very vocal against special effects, and also too many characters. And so this film in particular
which is funny because he is a big Stephen King fan. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know,
yeah,
I
like, yeah,
gotta.
it's very
Maybe
it's very interesting. I don't know what actually falls into that category very well, besides like down to earth, realistic, like ranch hand movies or something like that.
He loves Brokeback Mountain, not because of like the story or anything. It's just about two people, two men on the mountain.
Easy to keep track of.
Like, yeah,
no special effects, easy to keep track of. Yeah.
Well, you can't ever show him the anime that you're watching right now that I finally got you.
No,
to. Legend of the Galactic Heroes, because this show has like 300 characters.
Yeah, far too much to track for sure. And yet he did like Lost, which, you know, again, is one of those shows that has a lot of characters and follows different people throughout and keeps adding and stuff like that. So anyway,
man, that hasn't that just been lost in the zeitgeist like that in 24?
Lost.
It's like you don't hear anybody in 2026 being like, hey,
true.
I looked forward to watching 24 Lost in the West Wing. People will be like, I like that West Wing. It's got that Martin Short in it. Not Martin Short, sorry.
I was going to say, not Martin Short.
Yeah, I think it would have been better.
Yeah, right.
Martin Sheen. Yeah, not Martin Sheen.
No. It's true. They've really been lost. I mean, I think West Wing's still kind of people watch.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like out of those like three big shows of the mid 2000s, like, you know, Lost and 24 really lost like
their hold. So anyway, like with Battlefield Earth, you know, you've probably seen throughout the years, you know, it has been listed pretty routinely as one of the worst movies ever made. It is a movie that I think a lot of people have heard about, know about, but probably have never watched. You know, I think it falls into that category where, like, not only did no one like the movie, but the backlash about it really caused people to not even bother seeing the movie. So all they know is what they've heard about it instead of actually watching it. I don't know if you find that too, but I don't know a single person who's actually seen the movie. Like, it's like one of those mystery things where, you know, people just have it in the back of their mind as like a cultural touch point, but they don't know anything more about it. And I think the biggest thing that, you know, in researching the movie and stuff is the fact that, and I didn't realize this even before starting to look into it, is that it was based on the L. Ron Hubbard novel, Battlefield Earth. I had no idea that it was actually a book prior to actually getting into this movie. And I've never read it, but I think you said that you looked at the book a little bit and it's like 1,000-page opus.
Yeah, right? On Wikipedia, it says it's 1,050 pages paperback.
Yeah, so
the whole title is Battlefield Earth: a saga of the year 3000. Saga. All right, I don't think the Norse gods are going to be singing of this tale and whatnot, but
it's
like I was gonna say real quick, like I said before in a couple of episodes, like for this film in particular is like with Showgirls, is a film that the only way I know about it is from that guy with the glasses, like angry, you know, movie reviewers and video game nerds and stuff, like that guy with the glasses, Nostalgia Critic, did a review of this film back in the day that was like a lot of people thought was funny, criticizing it, and then that guy with the glasses did like a 4-hour fucking movie basically based off of those. Yeah, well, not on the movie, spoofing stuff, but like it was like a big thing. It was shit. It was a 4-hour shit show of a shitty movie too. Those movies, but point being is that's like the only way I know about it. Because like I said, never saw a trailer for it. You know, if I were to look, if you didn't have Battlefield Earth on that poster, and it just was the poster artwork, I would think like, wow, what shitty Sega Genesis game am I looking at now? Like, The
It looks like a
Dreamcast is
StarCraft sort of like a knockoff.
yeah, or
like
like
that.
something like maybe like a Japanese only like Sega Saturn game because
Yeah.
you know the Saturn wasn't popular in the States and like oh you know what's going on this you know
True, and I even like that IMDb has like the classic VHS trailer for it too, which just like kind of cements the shittiness of everything.
coming to Criterion.
I guess what I was gonna say about the L. Ron Hubbard thing is, you know, again, it's a weird thing because you know at this time L. Ron Hubbard had been, he was working on his Scientology writings, and part of Battlefield Earth as a novel does, I think, tie in a little bit to his beliefs in Scientology. And the funny thing about it is that Battlefield Earth, the film, really has no direct connotation to Scientology, the belief system, or none that you can really glean unless you are really, I think, very deep into Scientology. Like maybe Scientologists watch this movie and they're like, "Oh yes, when Xenu did that," and you know, from the lore. But I don't have any of that background knowledge or anything like that. I have not looked into Scientology very deeply.
All of it seems like basically he was sent to like maybe like see a shrink once, and the shrink said like gave him some advice and like said like you need to work on these things.
Yeah.
You're a shitty person. And he's like those psychiatrists are a bunch of psychos.
Psychlos, yeah.
Like it's so like just
And the other thing about it, I think, is money.
Yeah.
Right, because big tenet of Scientology, though it's not stated in the belief system, is that hey, you got to pay for all this stuff too. Like a lot of this costs a lot of money to like get involved with.
It's literally my
have money to
favorite
get
mission. It's literally my favorite mission in Grand Theft Auto 5, where as Michael, you have to pay the Epsilon program over and over again.
Yeah,
and the whole walking like the desert for 20,000 steps, and you have to like literally sit there for like an hour, just like if you want to get it completed, you know, and like just walking around going Kiflam, you know, it's great.
And it's, you know, again, that's the whole idea behind it, is that it is a series of ridiculous steps of higher beings to get into like the more increasing levels, and the more you get into the levels, the more stuck you are in it. The interesting thing I find about Battlefield Earth is that like this is a crazy undertaking for somebody who primarily a theologist style with Scientology to write a 1,000-page novel, science fiction novel, at the same time period when science fiction was actually like fairly booming in that, you know, in that era. That would have been a big thing, and so I find it very interesting that was like one of L. Ron Hubbard's contributions to culture besides Scientology is he wrote a 1,000-page sci-fi novel. You know, like he's the Arthur C. Clarke of.
Shut your mouth! Don't you?
I'm joking about that.
Don't you be saying such things.
I'm sorry. I should say more like the Asimov. Sorry.
Okay.
No. And
I wonder if him and Ayn Rand were friends or something.
Yeah,
like,
probably. I mean,
blowhards, you know, dating.
That's right.
You want to read The Fountainhead? No, it's like 2,000 pages long. Got something better to do than listen to Ayn Rand talk about who's Jon Snow or Smith or whatever the fuck. I don't care.
The other thing that I find interesting about this movie in particular is that they only adapted half of the novel. Like this is a 2-hour long movie. And it really only dives into the first part of the novel, and there was a planned second film to come out that never happened because quite literally no one liked this movie. And so it was like a $44 million budget, only made back slightly over half of its budget at the box office, did terrible. So you can understand why no one was like chomping at the bit to greenlight a second film to finish the novel's storyline, which at this point, if you're watching the first movie and you're like, this one needs a second movie, I think there's something wrong with your brain, because this movie really, as we'll get into, the plot itself is like completely nonsensical and not even remotely interesting where you're like, wow, I can't wait to see what else is going to happen in this universe. Like, I think, we'll get into that when we start talking about the movie itself, but like, it is surprising that anybody would even think like, 2 movies. We could get 2 out of these things. Anyway, anything
It's
else?
like, I was gonna say, it's like The Matrix Reloaded and I'm drawing a blank on the one and the 2
Revelations.
Revelations and like the Lord of the Rings. Like and Superman 1 and 2. We shot these back to back because we're like, we got a hit. We got a hit.
Yeah.
And, maybe then it's just sitting in the vault somewhere, Yeah.
Same thing with that Exorcist trilogy, planned trilogy that we keep talking about here.
Yeah, that would have been great if Tom Cruise did that for The Mummy.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
We got like Mummy sequels.
Mummy sequels all over the place. What could have been if we had the Dark Universe? Who knows?
We could have had Rachel Weisz back, and we all wouldn't have been better for it because
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a break real quick before we get into the movie itself, and let's talk about the beer that we have on the show. We got a special one on here today. One that I had actually specially ordered because we saw it pop up on Facebook. I follow the brewery on Facebook, and I saw that they were putting out this nice collaboration. We're going to have it up for sale online and free shipping in New York State because the brewery is also located in New York State. And generally, like, that's the way to do it, right? Because the shipping on beer is outrageous in any other capacity. It's always like $25 extra just to ship the beer. And so when you see something that you want and the shipping is free, you better take advantage of it. You better tell that brewery, I'm open to shipping when you're shipping for free. Let them know. So we did. We went in together with another friend as well, and we split it 3 ways because the order is fairly expensive. 24 beers for like $120 or something like that. So for me, at least, that's like fairly expensive, and it's better to split it. So we did, and we ended up getting the Other Half and Junior's collaboration. And they are both out of New York State. They are in Brooklyn, I believe. Yep, Brooklyn. Junior's is, I think, a fairly popular dessert bakery in Brooklyn. And so they paired with Other Half Brewing to kind of make dessert-style beers based off of their confectionery treats. So that package included things like a Half Moon cookie type cream ale. There was a egg cream stout, a key lime pie beer, which I have not had yet. I think you've tried one.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that we have on the show today is their Strawberry Dream, which is a double dry hopped imperial oat cream IPA with strawberries.
That's a mouthful.
And actually, I think, yeah, it is a mouthful. And I think this is based on like a cherry cheese or a strawberry cheesecake is my guess. Is that what you're getting as well? Kind of like a cheesecake style. I don't know if it says on here. Does it say? No, it doesn't.
No.
See, the other ones say like, oh, this one's based on a Junior's half and half cookie, or this one's based on the egg cream that Junior's would serve and stuff like that. This one doesn't say. It just says a hazy strawberry oat cream IPA brewed with Junior's, giving creamy, hoppy strawberry vibes. And it has a picture of like a cheesecake on it. So that's what I'm going to assume.
You know why they didn't? They just they had oats and hops to get rid of.
Yeah, right. It's got oats and it's got hops.
They're like, ooh.
I do love the proliferation of like oat IPAs, oat cream IPAs. I like that. That's just fun.
It's the next level of the milkshake IPA.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I like it. I wouldn't have it like often because I mean it is nice, but it is weird because it's a double dry hopped double IPA. You get a big punch of the pine, very big, a very slight strawberry to it. It's not overwhelming. It's not a fake strawberry taste either. Actually, it's like little like if you were eating like a tiny strawberry that hasn't like fully ripened yet.
Tiny strawberry, just a little tiny guy.
Just like a little tiny guy.
Doesn't have like
And-
all the.
And like the oatness gives it like a little bit more body to it. But like the creaminess of it, it's very mild. Like when you were saying cheesecake, that's like kind of when it kind of clicked in my brain. Like, oh yeah, at the back end, I do get like a milky cheese, like cream cheese to it. It's definitely interesting. Like I props to them, and it's a great idea. Like totally like going and doing something totally different. Is it like successful? I don't know. We'll see how I go. Go drinking it, but it's definitely not bad. I just am kind of bamboozled by it right now. Like, it's like it's just the assault, kind of an assault on my senses. So.
I agree. I think that this is a pretty good beer. It has a nice hoppy characteristic. I actually think the hops come out quite a bit right at the beginning when you first take a sip. It's pretty significantly hoppy. Like this is brewed, it says, with Strata Crush Cryo. Those definitely come out. The strawberry element to it is definitely a more nuanced. It's not a super heavy strawberry flavor to it. It's it's there, but it's very subtle. And then I agree, I get like a nice little oaty or sort of just like a almost pie-like texture to it at the back end that gives it that sort of cheesecake type flavor profile. I think it's pretty good. It's nice little, it's not super thick. I do think it does have a nice little bit of creaminess to it, but it's not overall like a very super filling beer, although it does sit well in the dessert style of this type of beer. So I would definitely try it again. I think Other Half does make a lot of really great IPAs, and I think this has a nice base from their IPAs. I think I would have liked the strawberry to come out just a little bit more. But otherwise, it's a pretty interesting idea and dynamic here. And probably from what I've had so far of the four, the more interesting of the collaborations that I've had so far. Because the other ones have kind of been like, oh, you had like a sort of like a chocolatey cream ale. The other, and then, like, oh, there's like a chocolatey stout. But those aren't really super unique in the flavor profiles. Whereas this one, I feel like kind of goes above and beyond and does a little bit more with the flavor profile to match a strawberry cheesecake type flavor. So, all right. Well, let's just dive right into Battlefield Earth, shall we?
John Travolta's.
Yeah, John Travolta's Battlefield Earth.
Don't let him escape.
And I'm not. I should keep tagging it with him all the time. But, so I will be honest with you. This movie is overall just
Wonderful.
no, it is a mess in that not only is it just a overall bad movie to watch, but the plot itself is so muddled and really unsure of what it even is trying to do that it really from the beginning of the movie, there's almost like just so many outside influences painting itself into the movie that you're just like bombarded with every single sci-fi trope that you can think of. Like you mentioned right at the beginning, you have sort of like these caveman people that reminds of like a Planet of the Apes type movie. And then you're introduced to the Psychlos, specifically John Travolta's character, who is Daryl, yeah, who is basically in shadow, cavorting around, chasing after the main character, Johnny and his group of cavemen.
Hold on. What's that man's name?
Johnny Goodboy.
Johnny Goodboy Tyler. Yes, yeah. See, like, the year 3000.
It's so
when
fucking
man,
stupid. Yeah.
when man is almost extinct due to its enemies.
At least they were
Then
able to give it a
in the
name.
caves, we're still naming our kids like it's 1964, and you're sending them off to Nam. Hey, it's Johnny Goodboy.
Johnny Goodboy Tyler coming in. Yeah. I do love that too. Like, that doesn't matter. The whole rest of the world has been basically obliterated and under the enslavement of these Psychlos that they call like beasts or demons or whatever. But they've upheld most of the regular traditions of like getting married, taking surnames and, you know, middle names and things like that. The idea that these cavemen guys are like,
yeah. And for those who hang out in a cave, they're also very tan.
True.
And white. Do you think they? Do you think Forrest Whitaker's in here just to be a token, like literally token? Because there's like no like
possibly
black people, no, you know, Latinos, Asians, like were they all like, this is fucking stupid? No, I'm out. Like, you know, this is a bridge too far. Because again, as I was telling right off the podcast, like even if you like are somebody who's well versed, which we're not, in like L. Ron Hubbard sci-fi writing bullshit, Scientology and whatnot, even if you take whatever your thoughts are about that, throw them out the window and go in blank face like probably most people were in 2000 if they saw this wretched sack of shit in the theaters, paid good money for that, you would be like, this is crap. Because it's just the epitome of the like, you can tell film was made in 2000. It's literally like the Big Bang and like Goodbye Parade for the 90s. Because there's so much excess of the 90s like film here, it's ridiculous. The Dutch angles for no reason. Slow-mo because of the Matrix and things. Everything's slow-mo. The Star Wars is just big. Here's some wipes and oh yeah, we just had a bunch of Star Trek films. We're gonna have all the fucking you know, Turl and them, the Psychlos. They're like bastardized Klingons. It's just like all just this
a cross between the Klingons and, as I was getting at, but I didn't really get to.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I was like, I got sidetracked, but I was saying John Travolta is looking like the fucking Predator in shadow, and then they do the actual reveal and like, oh, that's what he fucking looks like. You know, an insane clown posse type.
He's a juggalo.
I mean, I would be scared too, but like in a different way. Like,
everybody comes.
Damn it! He's trying to get a light from me. Or
you know
something
what? We need somebody to like when we get the reveal of like them like being shot and chased, and then like you just hear in the background, everybody's come see the greatest show. Gather up all juggalos and roll.
And I know I'm not trying to disparage juggalos here.
You shouldn't, because you know they're better.
Are much better than are much better than the Psychlos. I think the Psychlos stole their look and everything and stuff. You know,
but it's like you
without the Jinko genes. I mean,
it's it's just like such slop. And I'll give the film credit. There's an idea here that like could be interesting.
Okay.
But
go on.
There isn't like, because again, it's generic, like in its sci-fi-ness. Like,
yes.
But you would have to like not make it a movie, make it like an HBO, like, and this is like if it were to come out like today. Because I don't. Like a serious like HBO style
cinematic
short series to elaborate, really make like expand it. 'Cause again, the writing is just so fucking stupid. Johnny Goodboy Tyler, man animal. They're not animals, and they call them man animals. So like it's just
they couldn't even just turn it to man animals. They have to keep saying man animals throughout the whole movie. Like you know, like you would think someone like Forrest Whitaker would have been like, "What the fuck am I saying? This is fucking stupid." Why?
Because it's also because it's supposed to be like, oh yes, look at like, you know. So you're supposed to like, I'm man. Like we can overcome these assholes, you know. And it's just like it's so brain rot inducing stupid. Like with a smarter writer, you could salvage some like of this. But again, You don't call them Psychlos. They're from Psychlo and they're Psycho. It's too, and like Johnny Goodboy Tyler. It's way too on the nose. It's like if you were to give that script, like if you were in like a creative writing class in college, and you were to turn this in as like your ideas, your teacher would throw it at you, would laugh at you, try again.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you here, and I think, some listeners may take offense to this, but Battlefield Earth is like a contemporary Rob Zombie of sci-fi. It really is, because I'm getting a lot of very similar feelings from Battlefield Earth as like some of the worst Rob Zombie movies. Very on the nose writing, check. Like over the top antics that are not in no way realistic whatsoever, check. And I think to your point, you're right. Battlefield Earth is doing neither of these things right. It's not taking itself it's not serious enough to be a good science fiction movie. And yet it's also not very good at even creating its own lore, because the film, arguably it's almost 2 hours long. It really has very little world building going on in this movie. Like there's almost none whatsoever. All you really get is like, we're in the future, 3,000 years, Earth's been destroyed. There are aliens called Psychlos, and there are humans that still live on Earth. And that's like all of the world building that you get. I don't know how we spent 2 hours not getting anything more out of it. It's
it's in slow-mo half the time, and they say man animals. So that's like the greatest stuff. The fact that you have to spend most of the film, again, Johnny Goodboy Tyler, our protagonist, he's in the film like a third. We spend 2/3 of it with fucking John Travolta.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically the world build and because it's like, well, most people probably haven't read this L. Ron Hubbard shit. So we gotta explain, like, oh yes, our green liquor and all these words we're saying, gibbly gobbledy goo. But it's not interesting. It's like a incredibly bad, like, Star Trek episode.
Exactly. Yes.
Like,
it feels like the cheapest 90s Stargate SG-1 knockoff that you can get like on UPN or something.
Yeah.
Like it's the UPN version of
a science fiction.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that doesn't have any, it's late night. It doesn't have a budget, and it's just trying to do its thing. Yeah, it's really bad. And like again, we have to emphasize this movie had $44 million poured into it. John Travolta is reported to have put like at least $1 million of his own money into it, because the film often stagnated. It had been in the works for quite a while. There was a lot of talk even in the 1990s about making Battlefield Earth into a film, with John Travolta coming off of Pulp Fiction, being a very big star and also a big Scientologist. And people even at that time were talking about making it. So there was a lot of production that went into it. There was a lot of money that went into it, and all of that money turned out to this, like this junk. And I think one of the bigger things about this that is so interesting, and I would love to see an actual like production featurette or something on the making of this movie that's not influenced by anybody who was involved in it. It's an outside external
a nice third
documentarian.
Party,
yeah, exactly. Because I would like to see what happened in like the script writing room and the production rooms where people were saying, yeah, this is going to be a movie about Psychlos, and John Travolta is in here. Here's the dailies of John Travolta playing, the main villain and stuff. And people are like, yes.
Yeah. What the problem is with the dailies? John Travolta's probably there watching the dailies. And like, isn't this great?
They had him
like,
in the room.
it's like the whole John Lovett's like acting.
They had him in the room still in the makeup. He's just like, sitting there.
Like, what do you think, John?
Right?
It's this guy ends.
Because I just cannot imagine a group of 30 individuals across all manner of production on a big studio budget sitting around saying, yeah, this is awesome. This is great. the dailies are coming in. I can actually see probably people getting visibly sick as the dailies keep coming in, and they're like, what the fuck is this? What is this? And it's just every day it just keeps getting worse and worse, but we're more and more money in.
Do you think that's why the Dutch angles are so prominent? Because like just as like out of spite, Roger Christian's like sitting there like,
maybe
he wants more tilt, and they just like slowly like he's like filming it and having it slowly like.
I think the Dutch angle is a reference to the audience member getting more and more drunk or sleepy, and tilting their head not off because they're it's supposed to be the audience member.
The camera is you.
I would love to see if anybody has done an actual count of how many Dutch angles shots there are. Because I think it's like literally the entire film. So however many reels there are of the film and stuff like that, however many shots there are, that's how many Dutch angles there are, because it's an immense, and like you said, there's like a feeling of seasickness in this movie, because constantly you're even like what you would consider to be normal. Did somebody? Well, did they count it? I don't know if you're
Google AI says that that no one has counted, but it is estimated that over 90% of the shots
are Dutch angles. Yeah. And that makes complete sense.
And that's a problem. That's a problem.
Because like what it does is it makes it so that even things that you generally take for granted, like just the over-the-shoulder shots of people talking conversationally, are all shot from fucking 30 degrees on the ground. And you're like left wondering, like, why am I so off kilter here? Like, what is even the point of showing two people talking, and every time we switch back and forth between them, we're at a different angle? I don't quite understand why. I think part of what makes Battlefield Earth actually, maybe one of the only things that makes it an interesting movie is that it really refrains from using any conventional movie making process, right? Like you would think most movies are maybe a little bit criticized for being too standard. They use the techniques, the conventional techniques of filmmaking, and they don't really stray too far from that. And Battlefield Earth is like made by an alien who's never seen a movie and thinks that these are, this is what a movie is like, and it like is shot from 15 different angles, and it's shot with like a constant, disgustingly blue filter and
blue-green, like, right on the eve of green taking over everything. Yep. And again, it's like you said, like, I was starting to get seasick at points. I don't get motion sickness. Right. It's just like, what, like, why? Like, it's not doing anything. It's, not enhancing the storytelling. It's just such a, like, did George Lucas tell Roger Christian after, like, he, like, coming off the Phantom Menace, like, I bet you couldn't make a film with 90% of it being Dutch angles, you pussy.
He's like, like, I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't.
Or we have to also assume that it's possible that some people that were forced to work on this movie were actively trying to sabotage this movie. Like, because it's possible that some of them were not really, they were just kind of here as a job, and they were sabotaging the production of it because it was such a stupid ass fucking idea, or it was so haphazardly directed. Can you imagine being like the boom mic guy as John Travolta's like prancing around the set and like, just like, I do also,
John, can you hurry it up? Like, we gotta go to catering in like 5 minutes, okay? Like, Jesus.
I do think it's interesting too, because this is not like it's Roger Christian's first film. It's not like he hasn't done films before or since. Mm-hmm. He actually had a fairly productive career prior to Battlefield Earth that was not particularly, criticized. He had a couple of films that released and, to not a huge amount of fanfare, but they weren't like lambasted because they were terrible. The Sender is a good example of that, a 1982 horror film that he released. So it's interesting, like what actually ended up happening on the set of Battlefield Earth. Was there a lot of production issues that were kind of plagued the development of the movie? I could see that. I could see L. Ron Hubbard trying to get a little bit more involved in the film than maybe people were hoping for, and so that kind of made things go in a different direction. But I think at the end of the day, everything kind of culminates into probably the biggest criticism kind of goes back to trying to adapt L. Ron Hubbard's novel in a way that makes it so it relies way too much on any other sci-fi trope. Because you can think of pretty much any popular sci-fi movie around this time is here in some ways. The wipes of Star Wars, The Predator,
Independence
Terminator.
Day. Why is the end?
Independence
it's literally
Day.
fucking Independence Day. I don't know if that's what the book's like or not, but it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And just so what is going on?
I mean, the whole final conclusion of like the air fight is, basically out of Star Wars. And so it's like, I think that they just, again, did not really have a great idea at all in terms of how the movie was portrayed. I'm really also interested to find out if in L. Ron Hubbard's book, this was the description of the Psychlos. Like, I don't know how they really got to this point. I think the interesting idea is like the little air thing that they put on their nose. I think that's kind of like a unique take that is otherwise lost with the rest of the movie, that it doesn't really expound upon that very often. And actually, to the film's detriment, because a lot of the plot points situate around the fact that like there's a special type of air that's in the Psychlo's dome that they have in Denver. And
it's great that they call it a dome too. It's not even a dome. It's just
like a big
greenhouse. Yeah, a greenhouse.
I think like the part of the basis of the final plot is that there's this big dome that's keeping the air in that the humans can't breathe, but the Psychlos can. And so to kill them and allow the humans to breathe on their own, they have to break down this dome, and that's really poorly expounded upon in the movie. Like it barely is mentioned, and yet that's the whole plan.
You can tell this like book was written in the 80s because again, the idea of like, well, the radioactive material is gonna, like, their atmosphere can't take it, so if we just get our powerful nuclear weapons, we'll be able to destroy their whole planet. And it's like so dumb. The whole, like, I can get behind, like, the middle part is kind of interesting at times with the whole, like, putting the Psychlo, like, history, language, etc. into Johnny Good Boy's brain and stuff. And that's like, cool and a nice little idea, but not executed good at all. But like, it's just so like stupid because again, it's also assuming that 1,000 years after the year 2000, the city of Denver is still standing. Looks like The Last of Us, like the cordyceps just took over. You can go down to any fucking fort. Harrier jet's still up and running. These dumbasses living in a cave for 1,000 years. They'll figure out how to fill it up with fucking diesel. Oh wait, no, they don't even. Where would you get that? And like, all the weapons and stuff. Like, how does it all work? And like, nothing's degraded over time. Isn't this so lucky? And also, too, these goddamn aliens that are so smart and conquer a bunch of different planets haven't invented a shield for their fucking planes.
Yeah.
It's just like so stupid. They're getting beat by hair, like even in fucking Independence Day, okay? Like they had the shields. They had to figure out how to get around that. And this one, like L. Ron's like, no, you don't have them because they're Gundams. It's just so stupid. Like the whole idea and like the fight and the revolt is so fucking stupid. And the idea that like, yes, we'll send Johnny out to the Denver Library to learn about
Yeah,
man.
I did love
And
that.
he's just sitting there and he's reading the
Going
Declaration
over
of
the
it.
Declaration of Independence, yeah.
And that's the other thing too. This film, me bitching about like the fighting in the military, is so jingoistic. Because again, it just takes place in America. So I guess all the only people surviving it that survived the onslaught are, people in America. 'Cause
Right.
they had the will and smartness of freedom and liberty. It's just so jingle, like again, like the whole, like, it's not, at least Independence Day, you get Bill Pullman, like, we're united Earth and we're gonna do it together. And here it's just like, I read the Declaration of Independence and all of a sudden, we all know how to fucking use those M16s that were in the bunker. And they're Ramboing it, throughout the fucking village. Like, it's just so stupid.
Right.
It
And this film is called Battlefield
Earth,
not Battlefield America.
Battlefield Rocky Mountain High.
That was another criticism that I have of this movie is that one thing, it's certainly not Battlefield Earth because the film does not even really attempt to depict a more, international feel to this movie. And then secondly, it doesn't even really use America that well as like a setting. It's like got two settings and it doesn't even do that very well. So I would say that the whole idea of it being called a battlefield and like the sprawl, the sense that the title gives of a sprawling war that's happening is super disappointing when you get into the movie and you're like, wait a second. There's like two settings in this movie.
Yeah.
And
I think I saw Joel walking Ellie like to go see a dinosaur,
Yeah.
Like,
I know. I will say that I think that at least the overall CGI of the space and the planet and the sort of the detritus of the blasted out cities is not bad. Like for a 2000s movie, I think they did a pretty good job with that. And I would say even today we see worse CGI in some of the DC movies that we get. With and it's kind of interesting how like CGI kind of peaked in the 2000s at some points and is actually getting worse as we continue in movie making. But the other parts of the CGI, like the ship battles and stuff, are god awful. And the reason for that is because there's really no choreography to the cinematography. Specifically in any fight sequences, there's a couple of like scuffles that we have and fights and battles, and they're all really poorly choreographed, like where you can't see shit. I was like watching the movie and I'm like, what is even happening? Like what is happening here?
Yeah,
I can't make out who is fighting or doing what or whatever.
Yeah, it's not blocked out or anything, like, so like it makes sense. It's just like a bombardment of your senses. Like just watch like a New Hope in the final, like, Starfight, whether it be, the original or the, CGI fixed, whatever. It like, there's no tension. There's no, gravitas to it. It's all just like, stuff happens.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, what do you think about John Travolta as our big bad villain?
He's not like the worst part about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I can get behind him being like a yes queen, like, because, he's very queer in this. But it's inconsistent. Like, because the film wants to try to be campy at times.
Yeah.
Like, it's like it's pulpy and low budget, but at the same time, I'm the deadliest shooter. And it is what it is. Like, Forrest Whitaker's probably the best person in this film because everyone else is trash. Forrest is just there for a check, but he doesn't do bad. Like, everybody's terrible in this film. You fucking Barry Pepper. One, you're Canadian. Where's your accent? You should have been walking through the film being like, oh, don't you know, Nova Scotia? Well, doing that too. His He-Man haircut, finally braided. Fucking stupid. Terrible. His love interest, she's just there. have babies. Johnny's friends, don't remember them. Don't care. I remember Carlo's name because they say it like once. Everyone else, like, stupid. It's like just an incredibly, horribly acted film. It's like, I guess what sober people who haven't had, like, drink in 15 years, this is what you get. You just, like, "Ooh, I'm itching. I'm itching for it." It's just.
I mean, I think that, John Travolta is not very good in the movie, if you're looking for an actually villainous person, right? Like the extent that he actually is threatening or menacing, not much. In terms of actually leading the movie and being one of the only reasons why you would actually want to watch this movie, I think that makes a better case. Like, he at least has some something to grab onto and like about the personality that he brings to the character. Whereas everybody else is kind of just delivering this very dry, very unpersonal, acting job. It's literally, it feels like a job. It just is it's something I got.
I just read the Declaration of Independence. Let me tell you about freedom. I'm gonna talk to you about freedoms and liberty.
So, like, while I don't think John Travolta is doing a great job here, I think that's more so the character itself, right? Like, I don't think Terrell as a character is really menacing, and the film does not. The film has a real bad tonal issue about not knowing if it wants to be sort of campy or play it up more serious. And I think it would be better if it was serious, but let's face it, nothing is really going to save the overall plot, because the plot is stupid. It's about them stealing fucking gold from Fort Knox for some reason. Like,
I've seen that. That's Goldfinger.
I don't even really know why the Psychlos are obsessed with gold. It's not really like, it's the reasoning behind the movie and the whole plot point of it is, like, when you really stop and think about it, very, very dumb.
The corporate speak pisses me off to no end. Like, we must hear back from home office, and the home office decides, and yes, we must make the money. And again, it's like, what are you mining the earth for? Why are you mining gold? Like, why is that valuable to you?
Right,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
There's no reason. There's like no explained reason for like why that's valuable to them. Because again, something like gold would only be like considered valuable in a sense to humans, because like that our society, like, that's like silver and gold. We've like time immemorial, we've like, it's a rare metal, and we've turned into money. So like, what's this sophisticated, Psychlo's doing? Like, why is it important to them? Oh, it's also money too. Like, so it's just like.
That's
like
what I mean.
Just like such brain rot. And like I said, like there's inklings of ideas that could be like like if somebody competent wrote it, like fine, like you can get away with it. But like you said, it's so poorly written. It's like there's no saving it, because it's just somebody sitting there with like a giant, like, I imagine Gil from The Simpsons wrote this, like, fucking sweat heap sitting there, like, oh, Gil's got to get the script written. Yeah, like, pile of paper, disorganized, and like, got the script, Gil. Yeah, I got it here. And,
right, yeah, and just handed them a bunch of mismatched pages. Yeah. And I also have to say that I find that the soundtrack is exceptionally annoying as well. It's a very, like, almost industrial type techno music that and I'm a fan of like electronics and noise and stuff like that. But like this one has this very annoying like scraping sound that happen, like, especially when they're in the bar. When they're drinking that like Kerbingo or whatever they're drinking, that's like that green goop stuff that they like to drink. And in the background, there's just like a scraping sound that keeps going. It's like super annoying. And like you think like that's a small nitpick in a scheme of bigger nitpicks of the movie itself, but it's still really annoying.
All I can think of is because in Star Trek you have to start Trouble with the Tribbles. this is from the original show, where Scotty gets into a drinking match with the. I can't remember if it was a Klingon or a Romulan. They're drinking and they get down to like something, and they're like, he's like, "What's this?" And they're like, "Oh, it's green." It's been a running joke in Star Trek ever since. And that's all I was thinking about with this is like, it's green alcohol, right?
Yeah. Kerbango. Love it. What else? What else didn't I bring up that you want to talk about?
I think we covered it because it's like, as you said, the soundtrack is abysmal and it's ever present, and it goes between John Williams, like over the top, sound to techno beats to just like turn it off. I want to go home. But I think that covers it.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying, off air, this movie is overall just a bad movie, and it's hard sometimes to really talk about it because it's so bad that there's really not that much to talk about because you don't even really want to spend the time discussing it because it's not really worth your while to do so. I think we pointed out a lot of good things here that make this a bad movie, not just in the fact that like, oh, yes, it's related to Scientology. Like I really, again, like I said, couldn't care less. I didn't know about it prior to watching the movie. It was more so a thing that I found out about. And like the movie itself has very little to do with Scientology in general. Like if you watch it, it actually has very little to do with anything in general to glean like a theme out of it, like, to apply to everyday life. And there's very, maybe it's that corporate is overtaking our life. Like the like you said, the corporate Psychlos are super annoying and, enslaving humanity, and maybe that's the theme to take from it. But
secret socialist prop, I get you.
That's right. But overall, it really does not have much going for it whatsoever, and that makes it very difficult to expound upon. So
I would say before we get into the rating,
yeah,
was this a difficult film to watch?
Oh, absolutely. It was a very difficult film. I did spend I actually watched this in chunks. Which I tend to do sometimes.
See, I told you it should have been a short series.
Well, I mean, I tend to do that when movies are really difficult to get through. But in this case, I watched it in chunks. I watched about like an hour at first, and then I watched another 45 minutes or so. And then I had to like finish the last 30 minutes, and it was really a chore to like get myself to actually actively get into that last 30 minutes. So I actually probably would not recommend watching it in chunks because it's going to be harder for you to even, get up enough courage to throw it back on because it is so uninteresting to watch. So yeah, I would say it's definitely a difficult film to watch. It's just not very good. It is painful at times, like with the acting and just how over the top dramatic it can be. And I would say that it just doesn't grab your interest whatsoever. How about for you?
Lucky for me, unlike you, I watched it in a sitting. So I didn't experience that because, like you, if it is a film that I don't care for at all, I do have to like stand up, take a walk, do the dishes, put like 10 minutes in between me and the film to be like, okay, I can sit back down and tackle this. But I watched it in a sitting. Like it is a difficult film to watch because it's just not a good film. And not only is it not a good film, but it's not enjoyable in the way The Room, where it's so bad it's wonderful. It doesn't have that charm to it. It is just a bad movie, from the acting to the soundtrack to the direction to the cinematography. Like, everything about this film is horrible, and it speaks volumes because as I was looking on Reddit too, it's like rewatching this movie for the first time in forever. Do you guys still think it's like a difficult film? And someone's like, yeah, I watched it and I never thought of it again. And that's kind of how I'm going to think of this film. Because like it's not ever going to stick out like, in my brain as an experience. I'll just be like, oh yeah, that movie was really bad and I never really want to think about it again. And that's about it. Like, I didn't have fun watching it. There's a couple of like fun jokes between like, John Travolta and Forrest Whitaker. But I mean, like, other than that, though, I mean, it is like very bleak.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so let's give this a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. Slow motion. No, because that happens more than 4 times in this movie. What would you give Battlefield Earth?
3 out of 10. This truly is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's not well made. The effects are horrible. The acting is terrible. The story is downright trash. It's just an unpleasant, unenjoyable film. I had no fun watching it. It made me seasick from all the Dutch angles. I don't know what the hell was going on. It's up there with Mako. It was like one of the worst films I've ever had to sit in. The Mummy, for like films I've ever had to sit through. So 3 out of 10. That's a stink that this film's never gonna get rid of. So
yeah, I think I would agree. I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 10 as well. I think I probably have seen maybe a few worse movies, but they didn't have the luxury of being a big budget movie. This is a big budget movie that is absolutely awful. And I think that's a particular distinction that you have to make when you talk about bad movies. This got through a variety of teams, production. Everybody, some reason, greenlit this movie. And it's astounding, really. It's like, who in the right mind would sit down and just be like, yeah, let's just do it. But they did. And we got Battlefield Earth, which, again, as I said before, it's pretty much does not adhere to any like consistent filmmaking consensus of how to make a film, which maybe would in some capacity be unique and make it a little bit more interesting, but not in this case. It's still just a really boring movie. The plot line is just not interesting, and it doesn't even do its own world building, which you would expect if this was planned to be a 2-part movie. You would expect part 1 to really emphasize the world building, and it doesn't. It just like completely shuts down trying to figure out what the Psychlos are and who they are, what they do, why they even want gold. It's overall just a really boring and tedious movie, and I definitely would not recommend anybody watch and spend 2 hours of their time just to find out like what everyone already thinks, that it is a bad movie. And I think there is probably some curiosity to go out and see it just to see like, well, what could be so bad about the movie? And I mean, for some people, yes, maybe you would want to do that and probably watch it with friends, because it's just, it's not a single person experience to just like sit there and just sit there and take it. Just raw dogging.
If you're sitting there thinking about watching it and like, should I watch this movie? Fred Gwynn pops says, you don't want to go down that film.
Exactly.
A lot of bad things happen when you watch that film.
No, definitely.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He's John Lithgow these days.
Yes.
Where's Pet Sematary 2?
We have it. I have Bloodlines. That's what it is. Pet Sematary Bloodlines.
Wait. They actually made a sequel to the whenever the hell that one came out.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I don't know if it's a sequel. Well, I mean, it is. Yeah. Like quite literally, yes. It's a second movie that they made in the new remake.
Oh my god! Yeah, 2023.
But yeah, I haven't watched it. But all right, so that's Battlefield Earth, and that's
films. Hold on, we're gonna have to watch it. It has Pam Grier in it.
Oh yeah,
and David Duchovny.
Ooh, yeah. Like I said, I have it. Just haven't watched it. Yeah, but that does it for difficult films. Thank God we're done with that. No, I'm just kidding. We did a couple of films that we actually didn't mind. But for the most part, like, again, it's just the looming specter of having to watch a bad movie is a little bit
not fun.
Disconcerting. So, what's on the agenda for next time? Do we have anything that we want to get into?
I think we got to sneak in MK2.
Yeah, at some point here, probably do Mortal Kombat 2, which I've been hearing some pretty good things about. People aren't minding it.
Would you like to revisit Fury Road, seeing as gas prices are going?
Yes. The gasoline. No, but I think we did talk about doing that that one movie that I got recently, Hey Mom. Which I think I showed to you just the other day.
Oh my God, it's been 11 years since Fury Road came out. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's been a while. Hi Mom is what I meant, actually, not Hey Mom. Hi Mom, by Brian De Palma. So I think that one it would be an interesting one to cover. Might do that at some point.
Wow, this what is this, like a fucking Jesus?
Yeah.
Draw the blank on the guy, right, like a Corbin. Okay, looks like a Corbin.
Yeah. So a couple of things like that in the forecast. So hopefully we'll get that going and probably take a week off to recuperate from Difficult Films Month and then be back in June. So but we hope you enjoyed our episode on Battlefield Earth, and we hope we've sufficiently gotten you to recognize that you should not go and watch it.
We suffered a lot.
That's right. If you liked our episodes, you should subscribe to us because we do a lot of stuff like this, including these types of film months, and probably do like another action summer here at some point. And we do all kinds of things like that on the show. So if you like that, you should subscribe on any podcast app that you can think of. I'm sure we're on it. Leave us a nice review there as well. We are on Facebook and Blue Sky. You can search for us on there, Blood and Black Rum Podcast. We have an email address at bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com, where you can write to us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what movies you want us to watch. And you can also donate to us on our Patreon. Anything you donate goes back towards beer. So we appreciate that in advance. Thanks for listening to all of our episodes on difficult films. If you can go back through and check them out. And we've also done a couple of years prior to that, which were actual difficult films for their subject matter. So go check those out on any podcast app. And until next time,
take care.